Hi, and welcome to the podcast Life in Balance. My name is Naomi. I work as an occupational therapist at Balance for Blind Adults. This podcast is about all the things that make life enjoyable, make life easier, and make life fun. In each episode, I'll talk about a different topic, whether it's how to cook, go to school, garden, make music, and much, much more. I'll talk about some tips and tricks as well as how to adapt these different activities to accommodate vision loss. Today, we will be talking about makeup. People wear makeup for lots of reasons, but really, makeup is about expressing your identity and presenting yourself in the way you would like others to see you. Makeup is also a form of body art, using your face as the canvas. Frida Kahlo was a world-famous Mexican artist who lived with chronic pain and physical disability after the wooden bus she was riding collided with a streetcar. She used an eyebrow pencil to accentuate the hair between her eyebrows to challenge the stereotype of feminine beauty as being hairless. These days, you can find a lot of makeup tutorials on YouTube. Molly Burke, for example, is a blind YouTuber who posts videos demonstrating how she applies makeup. Before we hear from our guests about choosing, organizing, and applying makeup, let's go over a few common makeup terms you may hear on the episode today. Foundation. Foundation is a layer of makeup that goes on your whole face. It's the color of your skin, and it helps smoothen out the small differences in color your skin may have. Primer. Primer is a product you apply before putting on foundation to help the foundation stay on. Contour. Using product several shades darker than your skin tone to highlight different areas of your face by increasing their contrast. Eyeliner, a kind of makeup pencil that lines the eyes with a dark color and creates contrast. Eyeshadow, a powder that goes on the eyelids to further highlight the eyes. Eyeshadow usually comes in many different colors. Blush, a powder that goes on the cheeks that's similar to the color made when your cheeks blush. Some people feel that blush makes them look healthier, as if they were excited or had just exercised. Mascara. Mascara darkens your eyelashes to further highlight the eyes. Concealer. Concealer hides blemishes like acne or moles. It's the same tone as your skin color, but thicker than foundation, and usually comes in a tube like lipstick. First, let's listen to what our guest from last week, Jewel, has to say about makeup. I was really interested when you mentioned you did makeup. I was wondering how you go about doing your makeup and any tips that work for you for that.
Before I used to not pay attention to them. Lost my vision at 18, right? Mm-hmm. And before that, I was a makeup girl. So I said, well, just go by memory. Like, it depends on the person, the type of makeup they like to wear and what it is that they want to do, and the occasion that they want the makeup for. Because applying foundation, it's not really too hard. The secret is about blending. My daughter said the makeup brush is your best friend. So blending in when you put the foundation on, because you don't want it to be all liney and looking all smudgy. And so you put the foundation on with the sponge, and then after you use the big brush and circle around your face to blend everything in with some powder. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of makeup, but I learned recently, if you have the brush, it smooths it out so it's, like you said, blended in with the rest of your face. So I can understand. Yeah. As long as you make sure you do that everywhere that you put the foundation, so over your face, and just make sure you
put it all over your face, because you put the foundation everywhere, right? It's not just one spot. Kind of like tap the powder with the brush, and you tap your face, and then you do like circles.
Okay. Just going really slow and steady and getting every part. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, and eyeliner, if you wear eyeliner now, because I wear black eyeliner, I used to sometimes. Well, depends on the occasion, like I say. I take the pencil and I find in the tip of the corner of your eye towards the nose part, you take the tip of the pencil from there and you make your trace it all the way to the other side.
Okay, so you start close to your nose and then work your way out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you follow your eyelid kind of just above where your eyelashes are.
Yeah, and you have your finger there to help you so that you can follow the trace in where you're going. Some people like it on the top too. And if you want to do your brows, like say if you want to darken your brows, you would take the pencil, put your fingertip where the pencil is, and you slowly follow your eyebrow with the pencil, like with the tip of your finger, you trace, and it's like you're making your finger and the pencil to follow your finger to make the line of your eyebrow, because you can feel the hair on your eyebrow.
And so I guess lipstick is probably, I feel like lipstick's probably one of the easier ones to do, right?
It's kind of the same. The lipstick is the tracing of the line of your lips. And make sure you don't go out a line, and then after you smack your, like that, or sometimes you put your, I know it sounds funny, your finger between your lips, like that.
Yeah.
So you don't get it on your teeth.
That's a new one. I hadn't heard of that. I'm going to try that next time.
No, but it's the way I have to, I know, but my daughter is there the way you say it, but I have to explain it like that, because that's the visually impaired. You kind of have to go like that.
If you can see that you got makeup on your teeth, that's one thing, but that way you know for sure.
Prevent it before it happens. And then that way, if it is there, you do it, and then after too, if you're not really sure, get a tissue and wipe your teeth.
It sounds to me like there's a lot you can do. Just, you don't have to get too fancy. You can do your eyebrows and your eyeliner, makeup, foundation, lipstick,
If you're into eyeshadow, make sure you know your colors. Just get someone to, because what they do too at the store that I've done in the past, the colors that I like and the colors that I know, because the fact that I had vision before, right? Mm-hmm. So I do remember my colors, and I was a makeup crazy person. So the stores, sometimes you can choose your colors and you put them in the compact. They put it in there for you. So you put it in the order that you like. And when you put your eyeshadow on, make sure that you have your fingers and you put it in within the lid. And after, you can use foundation or whatever to wipe around the side. If you make a boo-boo and you don't know you make a boo-boo.
Yeah.
You still blend it up some.
Yeah, and it's like you said, I think one thing that I didn't always know is that you can go to a makeup store and they'll do a consultation and they'll help you figure out what colors or foundation matches your skin tone and things like that, right?
Yeah, because that's what I did at first.
And then, well, once you know, then, like you said, you can just order the same thing.
And if you want to be adventurous, you can switch up a bit. Sometimes I just take my palettes and I just put whatever color, because I know I like all the colors. So I just put the palette and I just blend them in myself. And then I have a good design going, and people are like, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
when I'm going out and I do myself and I make up myself and I go in the cab, I ask the cab driver, how do I look?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask people, you know what I mean? Because then you rather find out if you're looking like, you could have a smudge and you don't know you have a smudge. It'd be better for someone to tell you that you have a smudge and you fix it instead of walking around with that smudge.
That, I think, is a good point. As long as you ask, people are usually good about just letting you know, right?
Yeah, I've done that so many times. And they know you're visually impaired, right? So it's not like it's a question that is weird. They know that you're visually impaired and they know that you've done that task. So you just want to make sure that everything is fine. Do
you have any other sort of last thoughts on doing your makeup?
There's a stuff there. After you do your makeup so it don't smudge and stuff, you spray it on your face and it keeps it together.
I don't remember the name either. I'll have to look it up later.
What is it called? Set and Spray.
Set and Spray.
Yeah, that's good too.
I think people could get nervous about it, especially if they're doing it for the first time. But, it's like you said, you just follow the steps, and then if you make a boo-boo, smooth it out. It's not the end of the world, and you can always just ask somebody.
It's not the end of the world. No. Yeah, it's enough that we live with our disability. We have to be independent and do things and feel confident about it, right?
Mm-hmm. In addition to speaking with Jewel, I also talked with Ramya about her tips and strategies for doing makeup. Ramya is a radio host at Accessible Media Incorporated. You'll be hearing more from her and from George, who is an assistive technology instructor at Balance for Blind Adults, in a later episode. Here's what Ramya has to say about how she manages her makeup.
I don't use a lot of makeup, but the makeup I have, I cherish because it's the one, for the one special occasions, the stuff I have, right? Sometimes I just put like a rubber band around certain pieces of makeup so that I know that this is an eyeliner and not a lip liner, or a mascara and not a lipstick or a lip stain, because that would be a horrible mistake, right? Like that. The rubber band thing is great for anything that is like similar sticks, like sticks of lipstick or your mascara sticks, things like that, where it's that long, thin stick and you have no idea what you're picking up. Sometimes there's scents, like some of the lip products will have scent to it versus the eye products, but you still, again, have no idea. So that's one thing. And then I have several makeup bags or purses, I guess you can call them, where certain things will go into this bag, certain things will go into another bag, and they're not giant bags. I'm not carrying around full duffels, like 3 different duffels of makeup, not at all. But if you separate things into different portions or different sections, and in this case, for me, separate bags, you don't get as confused. So all my casual makeup will probably include a foundation that's more of a tub, a lipstick, right, which one has a rubber band on it, one doesn't, a mascara, and then an eyeliner, which is a very thin pencil. So you probably won't get confused between those 4 things. But now add in your concealer into that bag, add in your contour, your highlight, and then you're going, what's what again? And what's the color palette for all this stuff? So that's why I keep things in separate bags, but organize them so that all the stuff you would need for, let's say, a casual day out at the park is in this bag, but it's only 4 or 5 products. If you're a person who has 20 different kinds of eyeshadow, that's amazing, but I don't, so I have no idea how you would organize that.
In terms of application, my last guest talked a little bit about following contours, and that foundation is fairly straightforward. Like, do you have anything to kind of add around like application tips and tricks?
Honestly, and here's the big controversy around makeup, okay, because I've worked with a lot of different makeup artists on different occasions and friends who are super, super, super into makeup. There's always this controversy on whether you should use your hands or not, your fingers or not, and beauty blenders or pads, makeup pads, brushes, whatever. There's so much stuff out there. But for someone like me who's not even that comfortable with makeup or doesn't wear makeup every day, for me there's no difference between casual makeup and legit makeup, special occasion makeup, because when I wear makeup it's the same thing. But for me, I always use my hands. I always use my fingers to apply anything cream based. And then I try to get something that I'm comfortable using. Some people are more comfortable using powder. Some people are more comfortable using cream. Some people would just rather not use a foundation and a contour and a concealer and all these things. But at the end of the day, if you could get comfortable with 1 or 2 things for application, then you could slowly start to branch out and experiment maybe. But if you're not comfortable with it, you're always going to be so super nervous and insecure. At one point, I was calling IRA agents or my mom literally every time I put on makeup. Even if it was just foundation, I was calling IRA and I was like, is my makeup okay? And they're like, honestly, I can't even tell that you have makeup on. But you just feel so insecure and so nervous about it, because makeup is one of those things, if you can't see it and it's strictly meant for aesthetic and like blending purposes, and you can't see it, you can't tell, right? You can't tell just by the feel whether you have your makeup on right or not. After a while you'll feel more confident because you've done it so many times, but you don't get that, yes, I know 100% that my makeup looks great.
Yeah, I like how you kind of talked about like getting comfortable with kind of getting 1 or 2 things down, and then like I've got a system, I know that if I apply it this way, it's going to look great. I'm getting more confidence. So I think that's definitely helpful advice. Rami and Jewel had some tips in common. Get comfortable with a few products, practice a lot, and don't be afraid to ask others what they think to get more confident. Using bags and rubber bands can help you keep your makeup products organized as well. Finally, I'd like to add that if you're just getting started, you can call your local makeup shop to see if they'll do a free consultation. I hope this episode has inspired you to get creative and to take a plunge into the world of makeup. And that's it for this episode, and stay tuned for next time. The content of this podcast is not a substitute for medical or professional advice. It is not occupational therapy, nor is it a substitute for occupational therapy services. If you're interested in learning more about how to apply some of the strategies discussed here, please ensure you consult with an occupational therapist or other professional beforehand. Thanks, and see you next time.